Welcome to the Centrifuge webinar hosted by Dan Rodham and George Chidiat from KingWebmaster. My name is George Chidiat and my partner Dan is with me here.
Hey George,
How are you, Dan?
doing good. It's a great to do another webinar with you.
Yeah, definitely. So today we're going to be talking about our new product, Centrifuge. Centrifuge helps you manage your inventory. For those of you that aren't familiar with us, our company is KingWebmaster. We've been developing Yahoo stores for about 10 years now. And this is just our latest and greatest product, and we hope you enjoy the webinar.
Just before you continue, George, for everybody who has questions during the webinar, please feel free to send it to info@centrifugeconnect.com. And at the end of the webinar, we're going to have a few minutes to answer questions.
Okay, so let's get started. What exactly is what's the problem? Why do we need Centrifuge? What's it for? Dan, you want to start and tell us what it's about?
Yes, many merchants contact us every time with complaints about problems they are having with their customers, and the most common one is items that they have options for, and until the customers actually add the option to the shopping cart or the item to the shopping cart, they don't really know whether it's in stock or not. A very common scenario is when you have, let's say, a certain pair of shoes that comes in different colors. The size is fine, but then you start adding color black, add it to the shopping cart, it's out of stock, you go back, change to green, hit the cart, out of stock. At that point, you're probably going to lose the customer, and this is a main issue that they're having with their customers.
So you're saying the customers are getting frustrated when they don't know if something's in stock or not in stock until they add it to the cart, or even until after they place the order, and then they get a call from the store owner telling them it's out of stock.
Exactly.
Okay.
Another problem that the merchants have is with items that they don't put the stock in the website, and they don't even keep stock in the shopping cart. It's a nightmare to manage. You get the order, now you check whether it's in stock or not, you call the customer, you have customer service calls, why aren't getting my item, what's the stock of that item, you call back to the customers to cancel orders. It's a big nightmare, and I'm sure many of our listeners know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right. So Centrifuge will also help with the drop shippers and third-party vendors for the stores that have it shipped directly from the supplier?
Exactly. This is another feature we have, and we're going to go over it in just a few minutes. One of the main problems, even for stores that are using an existing inventory system, whether it's a third-party inventory system like StoneEdge or Automotion or 4P SiteLink, or whether they use their built-in inventory, their dropshipper inventory is never there. They either need to copy and paste it every day with updates, sometimes multiple times a day, or they're not going to have it, and then only after the order is placed, they place the order with the dropshipper or supplier, only to find out it's out of stock. Then you try to call the customers again to cancel, complaints. You know the end of the story.
Now, what about usability? How does Centrifuge compare to, let's say, what Yahoo has built into the system?
Well, merchants usually, are unhappy with the three main features in their existing Yahoo inventory system. The first one is searching items. It's very hard. There is no really search. You need to actually browse next until you find your items. And you sure know, with thousands or more items, it can be very frustrating. The other thing is, if you don't have a merchant solution store, but you have a legacy store, or whether you didn't define the individual codes that are possible in the catalog manager on the merchant solution store, you don't really have quantity on hand for each and every option. Which also can be a problem, because now you have just a single value for all the items instead of having separate values for all the options or option combinations. The last thing is reporting. You really don't know what's going on with your store, how many items are certain quantities, costs of it for different items, and I'm sure you're going to find some solutions there also with Centrifuge in just a few seconds when we present it.
So let me back up a second. You're saying with Centrifuge, it allows me to set a different quantity level for each combination of options for a single item?
Exactly, yes.
Wow, okay.
And there are a few scenarios that you can see stock on the website for the items, and we can present them right now.
Okay, so let's continue on. Okay, here we have a store that sells ski equipment, and as you can see, they have a set of options in a drop-down. And you can see in the options, each option has next to it whether it's in stock or out of stock. And this is something that Centrifuge does in real time. So as orders are placed, the amount of items in stock gets deducted automatically, and it gets reflected here. Uh, Basically, when a customer would choose an item that's out of stock, they would automatically see a little box that asks them to input their email address to subscribe to a notification that lets them know when the item is back in stock. And that box instantly appears as soon as they choose an option that's out of stock. Now, what we're looking at here is also for stores that have items that only have one set of options, one drop down. Some stores have more than one, have two or three, four, many more even. So obviously we wouldn't know if the item was out of stock until all the options are chosen, so you can get the correct combination of options. So we'll get to that in the upcoming slides.
Another important thing to mention, George, is, and I just want to clarify, those in stock and out of stock verbiage in parentheses are not coming from the options variable in the editor. These are populated in real time as the page loads, very quick, all seamless, very, very nice. And also the Add to Cart button can be removed. This is optional, of course, as well as the quantity input in case the customer selects the out of stock option.
So basically, if an item is out of stock, the customer won't be able to order it unless the store owner chooses to allow out of stock items to be ordered.
That is correct.
Okay, let's continue on. In this example, we see a similar thing here, except this is without options. This item is showing how many are in stock, as opposed to just saying in stock. You specifically see 5 in stock and ready to ship. Some store owners like to have the exact number of items in stock shown on their item pages. So you do have the option to do that, and also the wording. You have full control over the wording, so you can say 5 in stock and ready to ship, or you can just say 5 items currently in stock, or whatever wording you choose to use. And again, the same thing here. If the item is out of stock, it'll show this item is currently out of stock. Allow the customer to subscribe to a back in stock notification, and block the add to cart button if so desired by the store owner.
You also mentioned, George, at the beginning, this item has no options, but it's important that our listeners will know that even if the item has options, as soon as the options are selected, it will also populate the quantity in stock, the number of items are in stock. Of course, this is optional, but it's also applicable for items with options.
Okay, so let's continue on to the next slide. Okay, in this example, the store owner uses options and multiple options, and instead of just saying in stock, they use a nice graphic that indicates that the item is in stock or out of stock. Now, what we don't have shown here is when you initially get to the item page, it doesn't show in stock or out of stock because you don't know what the customer is going to choose. But once they choose their set of options, so if you look in the example on the left, you'll see shirt type, color, and size. Once they choose those 3 options, then the appropriate graphic will show either in stock or out of stock. And you can set what those graphics look like. You can have your own custom graphics in there. You can place them where you want to on your item pages. And as I said, as the customer chooses, when the customer is finished choosing all of the available options, the applicable stock image will show. And again, if it's out of stock, they'll be able to subscribe to a back in stock notification, and the add to cart button will be blocked.
Of course, this is optional. The Add to Cart button can show, and you can override and still accept back orders if you wish. That's all up to you. Just you mentioned, George, the image can be located anywhere. Also, all the text verbiage that we have, the stock status showing how many items are in stock. If it's just a text that shows in stock or out of stock, everything can be relocated anywhere on the page. Not a problem at all.
And you could also, just one other thing about the notification when back in stock, if you look on the out of stock image on the right side, towards the bottom of it, near the Facebook and Twitter icons, you can see notify me when back in stock. A customer can enter their email into there and automatically be notified. And also the wording here is customizable. You can make it the way you want it to look. So you might choose your own wording and not want what's shown here in this slide, but whatever you want can show. Okay, in our next example, some stores have a feature called multi-add to cart or multiple add to cart. This is basically a feature that allows you to add multiple items to the shopping cart at the same time with just one click of the add to cart button. So what we're demonstrating here is that Centrifuge can also work in this type of scenario where you have multiple items uh, and the customer can see at each item how many are in stock or whether the item is in stock or out of stock. So you see this is also ski equipment. You see here right below the options, you see on the first one, one item are in stock, two items are in stock, etc.
This is, George, also not only for options. It can be item without options. It'll still show the stock. You can show that the number of items in stock or not. Everything is very, very. I mean, everything's optional. You can control it whatever you like.
Okay, let's move on to our next slide. Okay, in this slide we have the back in stock notification that we've been talking about in the previous few slides. What you see here is a box that you'll have on your website or something similar where it allows your customers to enter their email address for items that are out of stock and submit. Once they submit, they'll be signed up for an automatic notification when the item is back in stock. This is fully automated. There's nothing for you to do on your end. The customer will automatically receive that email once the item is back in stock. Your customer will get an email that says something like, hello, the item you were interested in that was out of stock is now back in stock. Please click on this link to get taken to the item and you can purchase it. You have full control over the way that email looks, over the wording that goes inside it, over the wording that's in this box that we're looking at right now. And also another important thing is that when your customers enter their email address here, they don't get taken to another page or no pop-up windows or anything like that. It's all on the page, so you won't get your customers sent to another website or anything like that.
I just want to clarify, George, because there may be a few listeners out there with a back in stock notification module. This is not depending on a variable in the editor like orderable, yes or no, and then you need to publish. Everything is real time. So if an item had one in stock and it just sold to another customer, the next customer that comes to this page will see this item is out of stock, and the back in stock notification form will be there.
So this is getting updated automatically. The store owners won't have to publish their store or change any variables.
Exactly.
So they could basically be sitting on the beach while this is happening automatically.
Exactly.
Great.
Another feature that we have here is the reporting for this, and then the merchants can always see at any given point, go and see how many items are registered to be notified when they're back in stock, and how many of each item and the date of the first sign up of the customer.
If you're using a third-party inventory management system, such as the ones shown here, 4P and Dytacomp, which is also known as MOM, Supermanager, Automotion, Stone Edge, and many others, and pretty much any inventory management system that works with a Yahoo store, you can have them integrate with Centrifuge. Centrifuge will automatically and in real time get your stock status from that third-party inventory system and display it in your Yahoo store. And again, if an item's out of stock, it'll allow the customer to sign up to the back in stock notification, etc., and all the good features that you get with it. So again, if you're using one of these systems, we can fully integrate with it. Centrifuge is a supplement to those systems. It's not instead of those systems. Okay, moving along, here's what the control panel, or part of the control panel of Centrifuge looks like when you get to the back end. I'm going to let Dan discuss with you what exactly this does and what each of the features are here.
So first of all, it's important to mention this is not for the customers who are using the third-party inventory system that we showed in the previous slide. This is for the ones that are not currently managing their inventory or are using the built-in inventory. For each item or option combination, rather, you can set the item to be always in stock, get minimum quantity alerts, and even set the cost for those of you who want to get a report of the holding cost at the end of the month and see exactly what's your inventory status. The system is very easily searchable. The search is Ajax based. Everything's very instant. You can easily categorize all your items instead of just having everything under one page and have to paginate between the pages. You can set your own categorization values even. Very easy to use, very intuitive, and fast.
So if I understand, basically, if you're not using a third-party inventory system like we talked about on the previous slide, then you would need to use this system here to control your inventory.
Correct.
Okay, one of the features that I really like about this backend, what it does is if you look towards the right, the column called QOH, and then you'll to the right and left of it, you see a minus and a plus. One of the nice things about that is if you get if you have an item, let's say you have 10 of them in stock, and you just got 5 new ones that came in. Um, with the built-in inventory system in your Yahoo store, you would just change that number from 10 to 15. However, let's say while you were doing that and you were updating maybe 100 other items, while you were doing that, somebody placed an order for one of those. And you didn't realize it when you did it, and so you typed in 15 when in fact it just became 14 because somebody just ordered one. So things like that can end up leading to inaccurate inventory counts, and especially when that after that starts building up after a long period of time, your inventory can be off. So what this does is it lets you, if you get 5 more in stock, like I just said in my example, you can enter 5 and then hit the plus button, and it'll add 5 more instead of you setting what the total is. You're just telling it to add X number of that item or subtract X number of that item. That way, you'll always have an accurate number of items in stock for all your items, and you won't have that issue with people ordering while you're updating your inventory.
That's correct.
And finally, Centrifuge's greatest feature, the dropshipper supplier feeds. And I'll let Dan tell you all about it.
George, this is the biggest innovation we added to Centrifuge. For those merchants that are using suppliers or dropshippers and currently are setting them as always in stock using the third-party systems, or if they copy and paste the values from the feeds or emails they're getting from those dropshippers and suppliers to their system manually, no more. Now they can actually tie in those feeds via URL or FTP or even through the emails and actually take out those feeds and feed them into the system automatically.
So Centrifuge will be able to get their store owners' dropshipper feeds automatically and insert it into the Yahoo store without any manual help.
Exactly. Everything's automated. As long as the dropshipper offers you a feed, you can do it, and I'll show you exactly how. So, like I said, either you can use a URL directly from the web or FTP or email, and you can use feeds in different types formats like CSV, TXT, tab delimited, bar delimited, XML even. All of those are supported with our system. And once you put it in the back end, you can map each and every column in those spreadsheets or via the XML to match the key index of the codes, the option, the quantity on hand, and I'm sure we're going to do some future upgrades with it also for updating ETAs on back of stock items or update pricing in the website. We have different plans for this too, George.
Oh, that sounds very good. So now that we've gone through all of Centrifuge, I'm sure most of you want to know how much it is. So we're going to show you that right now. Centrifuge is available for an installation price of $250. There is a monthly subscription charge for Centrifuge. It's either $59 or $79. If you're using a third-party inventory system such as Stone Edge, OrderMotion, 4P, the ones we've spoken about earlier, the monthly charge is $59. If not, the monthly charge is $79. Then for the dropshipper supplier fees, which we just spoke about, it's a flat rate of $30 a month, and that is a limited time offer. The price on that will be changing, but if you do subscribe now, you will lock in that price, and we won't change that price on you.
It's important to mention, George, there's no limitation to the amount of dropshippers you can map with our system, at least not currently.
Exactly. That, like I said, that price will be changing. So if you do subscribe now, we will hold that price for you. Okay, now we're going to take some questions. I see we got some questions that were emailed to us during the course of the webinar. Let's start with the first one. What's the name? Mike. He says, I use Petra, and I assume Petra is their vendor. I use Petra, and they have their own codes. Is there a way to match them to the codes in my store?
That's a very, very good question, George. We do have the option of mapping custom variables that you have set in your store, and then using those custom variables to map in the feeds. So if you set the same supplier codes, in this case, I'm assuming Petra is the supplier, like you said, and if you did map their codes under the item, you can then map the same variable into the feeds in the backend of Centrifuge.
Okay, let's go to the next question here. We have Sandeep. How easy is it to convert using my inventory to convert to your system?
So I'm assuming you're talking about the built-in inventory. It's as easy as just exporting the data from Yahoo and importing to our system. It'll automatically read that format. All the items themselves are automatically populated within our system after the publish is done. So all the option combinations have nothing manual to set there. Everything is automatically added to our database. All you need to do is populate the values, and you can do that by either exporting from Yahoo's inventory and importing to ours, or using a spreadsheet directly in our system, or manually putting the values.
Okay, let's take one more question, and the next one, this one has no name on it, but okay. I have some items that replenish fast, and I want to get orders from them even if they are out of stock. Is this possible?
Yes, like we mentioned before, there is the always in stock option for certain items or certain options even. And I've seen some merchants actually use certain options only that are easily replenished. So yes, you can definitely set it in our system. Those items will always show in stock to the customer. They can always order them.
Okay, we're just about out of time. Thank everybody for taking their time out of their busy day to join us for the webinar. If you have any questions, please email us at info@centrifugeconnect.com. That's info@centrifugeconnect.com. You can also call us 888-546-4932. Please visit our website, centrifugeconnect.com and KingWebmaster.com. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, George.
Okay.